So the best marketing tip in the world ever is simply test and measure. If you're marketing, your strategy, there are lots of strategies we can choose. We've got around about 80 different strategies that you can choose for generating leads. So if you have, somebody may have to help me with the maths because I'm making it up as I go along. So if you have the investment you put into marketing, say if it's £1,000, put £1,000 in 3 different strategies. Okay, so this can be yellow pages, could be flyers, could be phone, mail, phone, those sorts of strategies. So you put £1,000 in each one of those, and out of the first one, let's go for you get 20 leads out of that one. You get 50. We'll say sales actually. That'll make it a bit easier. 50 out of that one, and we get 100 out of that one. So you do your test and measuring, and you see that when those 20 used strategy A, those 50 used B, those 100 used C. So which one would you run again? Because testing and measuring marketing depends on the value of the sale. Interesting.
Depends on the ease of sale, depends on the close rate, depends on the time it takes to close it.
Have you been to this seminar before?
No,
but it's when you're testing and measuring, you want to find out how many people. Firstly, you're talking about how many people your strategy gets to that are in your target audience. So that is a valuable thing to know. But when you think about marketing, you need to think about that you're not buying advertising. What you're buying is customers, essentially. So you need to work out what the acquisition cost is of each of those customers, because that's the key element. That's the element that you need to use to decide, are you going to run that advertising plan again? Are you going to do it again? If it doesn't make you money, why would you do it again? What you would do is you would modify it, potentially, run it again, change the words, change the target audience, run it again, and see whether it works better. If it doesn't, then ditch it. The fact is, probably 66% of advertising doesn't actually work. That's a huge number. And unless you're testing and measuring these things, you're not going to know that. So you're quite right, Brett. You need to know how much each of them spends. So, for example, if that was, and we're talking about the average sale value for these. So if that one was 100, that one's 50, and this one we can go for, yeah, that's good. So here we're making 2,000, there we're making 2,500, and there we're making 1,000. So initially we were thinking C. So what do we think now? If that campaign has given us 2,000, 2,500, 1,000, which one would we go for now? Sorry?
Still don't know. How long is it taking to close those deals?
Yeah, okay.
If I can close A in an hour, B has taken me 3 weeks. A might be more.
Okay. Let's just say they were closed in a week, all of them. Okay. For example, I'll tell you your point exactly. That's a really valid point. Is you're looking at.
That's why I don't deal with big companies, because I have to have 4 meetings and
yes. But that's kind of then built into which one of those does actually make profit. You know, that's a cost to you in having to go to X amount of meters, your time cost, and that's, you know, they're costs that you need to then work out what margin do you make on these. But the truth is, you know, if item A, for example, costs less than £1,000 to make, then your advertising has made you money. Similarly with that one, if you can make your thing for less than £1,500, that one's making money. Can you make something for nothing? Depends what you're selling, I guess. But you would maybe think that one needs to improve. Certainly needs to improve. But the other thing you need to think about is not just running that campaign once through there. You bought these customers, essentially. That's what advertising is. You're buying these customers. So that 100 customers have bought from you. You've got another 5 customers on your database. So what you need to think about as well is not just that £1,000 you've spent in buying them, but you need to think about what's the lifetime value of those customers. How many times will they come back and buy from you? You know, if it's multiple times a year compared to once in a lifetime with these two, then actually that £1,000 investment was actually value for you. So that is essentially what I'm saying about testing and measuring. You need to know your numbers so you can make informed decisions about which strategies you go for. Now, this is the biggest secret in business. It is and it isn't. This is something we took off somebody else. Fortunately, he's now dead. So he can't sue us for using it. It's actually.
I don't think that's going to be great on the video.
Maybe we'll cut that bit from the video, but. So this is our chassis for business. This is our business chassis. So.
Can I just say there's a blank copy of this in the pack?
Sorry, I should have said there is a blank copy of this in the pack in front of you. A blank. If you wanted to put your numbers in there to see how it would look with an increase, by all means, go for that. So out of number of leads, conversion rate, customers, transactions, average sale, revenue, profit margins, and profit, which are the key ones for you to increase in your businesses?
Conversion rate, number of transactions, average sale, value.
Indeed. We put the customers, the revenue and the profit in red, maybe trying to trick people. But, you know, they're the things we can't actually influence directly. You can't make yourself more customers. You can't just decide, I'm going to increase my revenue. What you're looking at doing is you're looking at increasing the number of leads you get into your business. How many strategies are you currently using in your business? So who's using more than, let's say, more than 10 strategies in their business to generate leads? Yeah? 10 different strategies? Fantastic. Who's using 5 or more? 5 or more? Yeah. And who's using maybe 1 or 2? Most companies in the UK are in the 1 or 2 strategies to develop new business. So if we look at the fact that we have around about 80 different strategies for generating new leads, if you implemented 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 more of those, we look at our customers to be running minimum of 5, probably going towards 10 strategies within their business to generate new leads. So we're going to put some numbers in here now, and these are just numbers because these are just simple numbers for simple people like me to work out. So conversion rate of 25%, 1,000 customers, number of transactions 2, average sale 100, revenue is then 200,000, profit margin of 25%, gives you a profit of 50 grand. Nice little business. So if we then look at making small changes. Now, when we work with companies, what we're looking at, and what you should be looking at in your business, is not concentrating on how many of these 5 areas should you be doing in your business every day or every month or every week. How many of those 5 should you be concentrating on?
All of them. All
All of them. Yeah, exactly. You know, you don't go to the gym and do your right arm one day and your left arm the next. Maybe Chris will tell me that I should be, but but you don't. You do everything together. So how does it work? Well, we look at a 10% increase. Now, a 10% increase in these areas isn't massive. You know, you think about a 10% increase in leads, that's not huge. If you put another 2 or 3 strategies in there, are you going to get another 10% of business? You would hope so. If you test and measure and work out your marketing's correct. Then if you look at your conversion rate, now your conversion rate can be changed. We've got 70 odd strategies for increasing your conversion rate. Your conversion rate is how you deliver it to your customer. Do you have sales scripts in place so that when people ring you up, they're getting the same service every single time? Do you test and measure those scripts to work out which of your salespeople or which of your people on reception get the best response from their customers? Which one convert the most customers? If you get a particular person that is fantastic and always converts, well, copy what they do and just roll it out to the other people within the business.
Personality comes into that as well, doesn't it? You could give 3 people the same strategy and everything.
Yeah.
But the 3 personalities could be totally different and one will sell more than the other.
Definitely, definitely. So we're looking at just 2.5%, so increase your conversion rate to 27.5. That gives you 1,210 customers. Then you look at the number of transactions. Again, 10%, 2.2. These are average numbers, so this is not every customer has to buy 2.2 times a year, because that can't happen. So this is an average. This is an average of all of your customers. So transactions is about increasing the number of times people buy from you per year. You know, with an insurance company, for example, we were working with an insurance company, and we looked at the average transactions customers did with them, the amount of average policies they had, and it's about 1.2. So just simple question to them: do all of your customers know all of the policies or all of the different areas that you cover? Yeah, of course they do. Okay, well, email all of your customers with a list of every service you provide.
Unfortunately, due to GDPR now, you can't do that in insurance. It's all changed.
Ah.
That's why leads conversion insurance is changing because of GDPR.
Okay. But if they're an existing customer, they've agreed to accept an email from you.
So it's opt-in, which often people don't.
Okay.
Because it's more effort. So this is where this is.
So,
These are really changing.
so
Actually offering a review, which is an investigation work.
exactly, it's a way of contact. And so if you rang up and said, look, since the last time we've spoken, we've really expanded our operation. We offer a lot more services. Would it be okay if either I popped in to talk it through with you, or I just sent you through the information?
Dressed as a client review.
Yeah, because you're providing a service to somebody by doing that. You're offering them some extra value, and they're a customer. If they've got a policy with you already, perhaps, then they're already a customer, so you're helping them in that particular aspect. Okay. Okay. Well, something we can, obviously I need to have a look at a little bit deeper, but the principle is that if you go back to your customers and you sell them, insurance may be a difficult one at the moment, but if...
The way I do it is I phone them. At the end of the day, I've got a personal relationship with them. But I'll phone and I'll then say, okay for me to send some information by email. Yeah, that's fine. And then I'll send out something.
Sure.
That way. But GDPR is a pain in the backside. I think what's the pain about it is that it's that confusing. No one actually knows what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, true. True.
Yeah.
But you could apply the same thing to florist operation, for example. You know, contacting your customers and saying, you know, have you seen these amazing bouquets we've started doing, or have you seen this, you've seen that, and trying to make your customers aware of all the services you actually provide. The insurance company at that particular time went from 1.2 to 2.7 average, and now going from a 1.2 to a 2.7, what sort of differences you think that makes to their bottom line. It's absolutely huge. So transactions, average pound sale is all about upselling, cross-selling, sometimes downselling, but you're looking at increasing your average sale to those customers. That gives you a revenue of 292,000, so that's just short of a 50% increase in your revenue by just adding 10% in those 4 areas. Accountants in the room will probably agree that if you increase all of those areas without adding additional fixed costs, your margins, even though there's lots of things we can do to increase your margins will increase by 10% just by the fact you're selling more products. So that gives you your profit then of 80,000. So that's a 63% increase in your profit simply by looking to increase by 10% in those 5 areas. I'm sure everybody would like an extra 63% profit in their companies. But it's small steps in each of the areas, not massive steps in one area. Look at small steps in each area. This is simply compound interest. The guy, by the way, that invented it, Albert Einstein, who said, what was the most important discovery made? He actually said compound. People would think it's the theory of relativity, but actually it's compound interest. So for a bit of fun, if we worked on and we got 30% increase in all of these areas, if you treble the amount of strategies you run, you improve your conversion rate by putting in some scripts for your salespeople. Your customers jump to 1,600, transactions go to 2.6. That's not far off the previous insurance example. Just by telling your customers all of the services you should provide. Your average sale goes to £1.30. How do you get your average sale up? Put your prices up. How many people are scared of putting their prices up? Scared of putting your prices up. A lot of people put their prices up. They don't even notice any difference whatsoever. Customers don't even notice. They just come in and buy. If you're selling slightly, I'm guessing some of your physiotherapy, it's a quite higher value, so they might notice they jumped significantly. We were working with an equestrian yard that were scared of putting up their prices. They were charging £25 a week for delivery. They put it up to 55. How many people do you think left that yard when they put it up to 55?
Probably no one, someone else to go.
Yeah, well, there is that. But
less than 10%.
But nobody complained. Nobody complained because what they then did was they installed a small menage with lights and said, this is the extra value you're getting by us putting our prices up. Did they make a lot more money out of doing that? Yeah, of course they did. Of course they did. So again, our margins are going to go up to 32%. Well, what sort of profit does that now give us? So we've increased our revenue from 200,000 to 570 just by increasing 30%, and our profits have gone up by over 200%.